On here.
You watch.
You watch.
It's live.
Welcome to the neighborhood. This is Gina.
This is Taylor.
And we have our special guest, our fairly new neighbor,
Yeah.
Mr. Don Knox.
Yeah.
Nice to
so
see you
good to
guys.
have you here.
Great to be here.
Yeah.
This is this is like selling you an elevator pass. This is our hazing. This is our version of hazing. When you get in,
And I was promised a hall pass, not
Yes.
an elevator
Oh,
pass.
not an
Ooh,
elevator pass.
true.
Oh,
Yeah,
well.
hall pass.
Yeah,
you haven't earned that
we
yet.
do have a bathroom pass for you.
Oh,
so you
great,
can
yeah.
go to the restrooms here. Don and the team at Civica moved in a month ago.
Month ago.
Yeah, a month ago. So you guys have been great neighbors.
Well, we're thrilled to be here.
We're thrilled
It's
to have
actually
you here.
great to be in an office with people.
With people.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Which is funny because you guys were in an office.
we were in a lovely office on the 12th floor of the highest building in Aurora.
with beautiful views of Aurora.
Yeah, all the way. Well, no, all the way
the
from
way to the
Longs
front
Peak
range,
to
yeah.
Pikes Peak.
Serious? You could see
Oh,
it all.
unbelievable.
Someone came in and
But
said
no
that-
one was there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That
true.
was the crazy
Ghost
thing.
building.
Someone came
It was
in
a
and
ghost
said they had
building.
been to your office.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, they're here. I was just at their office. I feel like, and it's so beautiful." I was like, "It wasn't
There was
as fun.
nobody there.
Wasn't
That's
as fun.
true.
You come here, our views aren't great, but we're fun.
But the times
No.
are.
The times are.
Everything's great about this.
Oh, we
place.
love it.
Thank you.
We love it. Truly, we were just saying that we really have loved getting to know you and just the whole team. I mean, I've known Kim for a while, and so I really liked Kim, but I didn't know you. I don't know how I had never met you at MIC.
that even
or
possible?
something. I
Really?
know. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I know. So we're going to dig into his deep past in a while.
And now that we're on video, I can do stuff like this.
Yeah, that's true. This is our second video episode, which I'm still getting used to. And man,
can
is it a lot
tell.
more work. It's a lot more work.
It is.
And today we decided to, at the last minute, clear out a table that was here, and it had my cute little plants
all of
on
a sudden,
it.
I looked down and I was like, "There's a plant."
I know. I said,
in
I just
your
need
lap.
a lamp and a plant because you know what? No staging should be without greenery.
It looks weird from this side.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
Hopefully you guys enjoy it because I do like the plant. I need some greenery here, but we're going to get started. I hear the trolley.
I hear the trolley.
Don, do you hear
It's-
the trolley coming? So get ready to
No.
jump on.
We didn't warn him.
We're heading
We
to the
didn't warn
news. We're heading to the news desk.
You could see it. You could see it in his face. He's like, "What trolley?"
I just got ran over.
Expect more of that. So we're going to talk about some news you can use, and this news happened all week.
Did you hear the pitch change in her voice? She's so
I get so
excited.
excited about this part. Okay, for those of you who market to Gen Zs, because last week we talked about how
Yes.
millennials ruined home parties.
Okay, I don't. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
No more Tupperware parties. Tupperware filed Chapter
I don't know
11.
if it was millennials. That's
I
all I have to say.
I think it was millennials. Let's blame them. But now
Everybody
Gen
does.
Z is ruining marketing.
Oh, okay. Are you saying ruining because of the grunge thing?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So for those of you who
This
grew
is
up
coming
with
from a boomer. Don't forget,
Yeah.
grain of salt.
grain of
Grain of
salt.
salt.
As a boomer, a proud boomer. Actually, I'm on the cusp of boomer and Gen
She's
X.
a boomer.
Are you? You're a Gen X.
I'm on
no,
the
you're
cusp.
a boomer.
I'm
Oh,
on the
see,
cusp.
Don, we're on the
Yeah,
cusp together.
yeah.
That's right. We discovered last night. We're pretty much the same age.
I'm peak millennial.
Yeah.
I'm right in the middle.
Brother.
I'm the worst of them.
Well, if for those of you who grew up with Nutter Butter sandwich cookies, can you remember?
I do.
Okay,
They weren't that good.
they're shaped like a peanut. They have peanut butter in the middle.
I think they're pretty dry.
I mean, I'll admit it, they weren't my favorites, but
You have to really like peanut butter. It's
They
a
are making-
peanut butter flavored cookie with
with peanut butter in them. Well, they're making a huge splash on social media right now on TikTok and Instagram. Go to, I think on Instagram it's at the original Nutter Butter, and on TikTok it's just at Nutter Butter. Their marketing is disturbing.
Boomer. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Grain of salt.
Um,
Here's your salt.
Now, what's interesting is this has been okay. Last year, McDonald's hired a marketing firm that had another similar marketing angle where the grimace was killing people
Oh
with
my
purple
gosh.
milkshakes on social media.
Actually killing them?
Well, I think he was poisoning. I don't know what he was doing. He was killing them with the milkshakes.
That's a pretty dramatic leap.
It was. Well, it was. And so it was this big thing. But guess what? Everybody was
Wait,
buying
the
milkshakes.
original Nutter Butter? Not
Not
finding
the, just original Nutter Butter.
Not finding it. I
Where
found
are
Nutter Butter
you?
the cat, and they are cute.
Are you on TikTok or
Instagram.
okay? Just original Nutter Butter.
I just want to
Um,
know how
Okay.
disturbing.
On Instagram, it's just
Oh,
at
it's just
Nutter Butter.
Okay.
It's TikTok that's official
Oh.
Nutter Butter. You got to get it right because everyone's trying to hack and create fake accounts. But
Yeah,
it
no,
is
this is weird.
disturbing.
But I want to know your take, and then I will tell you my take.
Okay. So all of a sudden their marketing it's kind of like last week when I talked about Napoleon Dynamite. Very disturbing movie when I first saw it. Then it was funny the second time. Did you ever see
Oh, I love
Napoleon?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Did you love it the first time
Oh,
you saw
I
it?
loved it. Yeah.
Okay, that's a guy thing now.
You like the Lebowski
It was
too?
just
Like-
weird.
Have
That
you ever
was
seen The
weird
Big
too.
Lebowski?
I did a long
Don't
time
lie.
ago. No, I did.
You're on camera.
Wait, am I under oath?
Yes.
Wait, where's the Bible? It's weird. They're weird. They're strange.
They're amazing.
And that I feel like is a guy movie.
Well, don't
I'll
box
say
me
it.
in.
I'm boxing you in. Get in
It
the
smells
box.
in here.
But okay, let's go back to Nutter Butter here because their marketing is disturbing. It's dystopian.
Huh.
It's okay. What? Look at there's a haunted house with peanut butter smeared
No,
all over the
it's
walls, and there's like these cookie crumbs everywhere. It's bad. However, where did we just go to eat?
Spitz,
Spitz. Okay.
Mediterranean.
It says Spitz Mediterranean. You're thinking, oh, lovely place to go grab some dinner. You walk in, and there's spray painted stuff all over the walls. All their
nerve.
lights are tangled in knots.
Oh my! Who's gonna untie them?
It's horrifying.
Oh,
But I said, interesting. This is the same type of marketing that
Nutter
Nutter
Butter.
Butter's going after.
it's the grunge punk scene. Think grunge punk from the '90s, like flannels, spiked mohawks,
Why?
like studded belts. That's our vibe.
Yeah, that's
And
the
this offends you.
Thank you. Thank
Well,
you.
It offends you.
It offends
right?
me. I go in there. I'm like, I don't want to be in here. I feel like somebody's going to attack me.
But it's not for you. They don't want you to be
No,
there.
they don't want me to be there. So you know what, Spitz? I ain't coming back. And you know
And
what?
Nutter Butter.
Your
she's
pitas
out.
weren't even that good. Kava has better pita
She's
chips.
throwing shade at a Mediterranean restaurant.
But here's what it made me think of. Okay, in our marketing, so millennials, everything was white and pink and rosy and rose gold. And think about the marketing trends in the past few years.
okay.
Everything was very light and bright and cheery. Now we've entered the dystopian era.
Gen Z is, in my experience, and I have nieces and nephews and neighbors and friends, they're disturbing.
There you go.
I
Summed it up.
I love Gen Z.
tell me why.
They're they choose
Creative.
their walls.
They're
Yeah.
very
They're creative,
into-
they're-
Creative.
See,
They're
this is good.
aggressive. They want to be with each other.
Aggressive.
They want to.
Yes, they do.
They do.
They
I
do.
think personality wise, they're amazing.
Yeah.
I think that they're tapped into a lot of things that we have suppressed for the past few million years. And so I love that about them. It's the marketing. They're the ones who are mostly into the murder podcasts.
yes.
All these shows like Murder in the Building
Oh.
and
Good
all these
point.
podcasts. They're like even like the Billie Eilish following, things like
Which
that.
I love her.
We love her. It's just-
However, her
but
style.
her video,
very
she's amazing.
grunge,
But it's
yeah.
a grunge punk. It's like it's re-emerging, and I think this was what happened in the '90s. I was just a baby.
You were a baby.
but
I was disturbed back
okay.
then
If
too.
anyone's been to an art museum, yeah. See, you've lived through this.
I've been disturbed by all of this grunge.
But
too much
if
grunge.
you've been to an art museum and you go to one of those things, the exhibits,
Not just Meow Wolf as a whole.
like modern.
that's
no,
kind
no.
of like that.
Don't even. It's not even quite Meow Wolf. A little bit, but I went to the Vancouver Art Museum. It was the modern art, so it's not like classic paintings or anything
Right.
like that. But it's where you're going and you walk up and it's like a little TV and there's just video footage of someone like ripping their shirt and then on their chest it's written in Sharpie that says like "Mom," and you're like, I actually
don't get it.
know what this
What
means.
this means. Yeah.
That's
well,
what Nutter Butter's marketing.
And you know what?
is.
They were eating Nutter Butters while they made that and probably drinking a purple milkshake
But
from
I'm happy to
McDonald's.
hear you like Gen Z.
Did you not like Nirvana?
No,
Didn't like
she's-
Nirvana?
oh, this rock
She
and roll.
like
Give me
Didn't like-
no, give me the Carpenters.
The
It's yesterday
This was-
once more.
See, she's giving like wild vibe, but she's not.
No.
You
She's like
might be the silent generation. You go that far back? The
John, I'm
greatest
younger than
generation.
you.
You're younger than me. Did we actually determine that?
Yes, we
Oh,
did.
well, I'm the
By
oldest.
1 year.
I'm the
You're
oldest.
the
By 1
oldest.
year.
By 1
Okay.
year. I'm 1
Okay.
year.
It's like, Don, how dare you?
How dare you? I'm so much younger
But the
than you.
Carpenters.
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah,
that's-
Shooby Doo.
Yeah, it's all
Lang
right.
Lang.
Yeah,
Um,
she's just pretty pure.
So anyway, for
Yeah.
those of you marketing to Gen Zs, you might
it
want
grunge.
to up the grunge. Yeah.
Up the grunge.
Buy some spray paint. And you know
Yeah.
what, parents? Hug your children.
Oh my god.
Hug your children. This is what's
And
happening.
they'll let you hug them because they're emotionally intelligent. This generation,
Are they?
they're trying to be.
Did I say that? I did say that on my.
We
Oh,
are.
sorry.
We are.
Yeah.
Suppressed.
Okay. One other thing I want to bring up is Amazon is having a new show. So we've all loved watching Shark Tank. Well, now Amazon has a show. Oh, I don't think I wrote it down, but it's the first look, I think, or
Describe it. I'll look it up.
it's basically like the Shark Tank. People who have products can come on, pitch, and this is going to be on Amazon TV
Prime.
and
Prime
on
TV.
Prime TV.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
there we go.
Thank you. You can tell she watches.
I
a lot
only
of
have
TV
3 channels, and my clicker doesn't go back to Amazon.
just to get up and change it. That's crazy.
Yeah. Too close to home. So the Amazon Prime show, that television network with programming, they're going to have a cool show, and you're going to pitch your product, and the winner gets to be featured on Amazon when you go to shop. It's going to be on that front page, and it's buy now. I think it's called buy this.
Is it called Buy It Now?
Buy it now?
Buy It
There
Now.
you go. Buy it now. And so cool if you have a product to watch
Is that
the show
Eddie
and
Murphy?
look at. Oh, well, they are going to have celebrity guests,
Oh, okay.
judges, and then there'll be executives from Amazon on the show.
So it's a little bit like Dancing with the Stars, where there's like these.
It's Dancing with the Stars
old
meets Shark
celebrities.
Tank. Yeah. So, so there's my news. Hopefully you can use. Get your spray paint and watch. I think this will be interesting to watch this show to really look at what makes up a good pitch,
Okay,
because no matter what business you're in, you have to know how to pitch.
that's
and
fair.
I think
You do.
It'll be interesting to see what type of products and things they pick.
I want to see a game that's called, or a show called Elevator Pitch, and
Oh,
I just
they-
want them to get
Wait,
in
they
an
have it.
elevator.
They have that. They have it. Wait, you've seen that?
I have not, and I'm amazing.
Oh,
I'm
it's
amazed at
so
myself.
good. It's such a good show because they have judges in a boardroom.
In an elevator.
No,
but a
they're in a
camera.
boardroom, and the elevator opens, and when they show the person in the elevator getting like prepped, and I actually wrote about this in my book. Don't
Oh my
mean
gosh,
to plug
I just
it,
sparked so much.
but I have it here somewhere because last week
Let's
I
all
forgot to
bring
talk
out
about it.
our books.
Yeah, everybody has your book. In my new book,
Her
I
new book
actually have a
called
link.
Scary Starting. Nope, it's called.
Glad she knows all about it.
It's called Changing Directions and Starting from Scratch. Your step-by-step guide to pivoting and building a brand new career from the ground up by Gina
Is-
Shrek.
Is there blood on that?
No,
book?
if there
So
was,
chains-
Gen Zs would be
Oh,
buying it.
Yeah,
so
they're not
see,
going to buy it.
this is marketing to Gen
Boomers.
X's and millennials
They
and
did
boomers.
love those
Or
warning
not
signs.
Gen
That's how they
Xs.
got to school.
Gen Zs. Anyway, I did write about that show in there, and
Oh.
the elevator opens, and they get out and have to give a pitch, an
Okay.
elevator pitch
But I'm saying on the elevator ride,
that
so it's
pitch
like
somebody in
you-
there.
door closes. You've got 5 floors to tell me exactly what you
Yeah.
do, and I'm either in or I'm out.
And that's the elevator pitch show,
Wow.
which is really good. I think that one's on Apple TV. All of these services
I don't have
kills
them.
me.
I can't
Kills
do it.
me.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's too much. Well, because you know what? Your older generation is still paying for all those things.
I pay for Netflix. No, I got rid of it. Anyway,
She logs into our password.
only on Disney for my daughter.
So there we go. I think the trolley is way overdue here.
I think the trolley was scared to come near us. To be
You know, because
honest.
somebody spray painted it all
Yeah.
inside.
Oh yeah, the trolley's making creaky sounds, and I mean there are a lot of horror movies coming out. Tell me I'm wrong.
There's always horror
A
movies
lot
this
of
time
horror-
of year.
No,
but-
just all the time.
and they get scarier and
It's
scarier. Are
getting
you a
more-
horror movie person?
Apparently not.
No,
You don't
it's
like
getting
watching
so
those?
No.
Oh, I
Yeah,
hate them.
them.
It's getting dystopian.
Well,
Brandon said he
Who are they
went to a
marketing
movie
to?
this weekend. He's like, I'm just gonna go a movie by myself, and it was called I don't know. It had Demi Moore in it, and
she turns into her younger self.
yeah, and he said he watched the trailer
very
and didn't know it was
scary.
horror. Which, first of all, we need to talk, Brandon, because we need to talk about social cues. But it was very obviously kind of a weird, but it was super dystopian.
Yeah.
But what it is they're taking like the feminist like problem of saying like as you get older women have to do so much work to stay beautiful, but they made it like just
Well, she
crazy
takes a
dystopian.
pill
an
or a shot
injection,
to
but
get
it's like her
young.
spinal fluid, all this stuff, and I'm like, this is getting way too. Or Don't Worry, Darling, all these movies that the Gen Zs like really really love. Woo, they
There
are
you
a
go.
mind trip.
Do you guys work?
No,
No,
You don't work.
no.
no.
Do you
You?
have
Do you work?
Well, I do work, but you
All
you
the time.
spend a lot of time
Watching, all
watching
these things.
TV.
Oh, let me tell you what.
and
It,
we haven't even started on music yet.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
true.
What the-
Well, this is like us saying that it's like I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. It's like
True.
we don't actually. I don't even own a TV, but I don't.
and yet,
but I
and
talk
yet,
And yet she
to,
knows
but
all
I
about 'em.
talk up to a million people every day.
Oh.
So I've never seen the Demi Moore movie, but Brandon told me all about it.
Yeah.
And then Don't Worry, Darling, I watch on a plane.
Oh.
That's where I watch my movies. On
True.
a plane. And that's really the extent. So if you asked me more, I would have none.
She can't give you more
But
details.
it does sound like we just sit and she's just Amazon Prime, Apple
Amazon
TV all
Prime,
day.
Apple TV, yeah,
What do you call it? Amazon TV.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've already gotten off the stop.
I
tip.
know.
We want to dive more into
yeah,
your background.
yeah. no,
because-
I want more blood and chains here.
Oh, yeah.
let's
bring,
bring it on.
bring in the blood. Yeah.
Let's get the Gen
Spray paint.
Zers here.
Spray paint. Bring in some stencils. Yeah, yeah. Paint guns.
Yeah. Spain to guns?
Paint guns. So I was gonna say spray paint guns. What's that called? When you go to
Paintball.
the paintball.
Paintball.
Yeah, that would be painful. But okay, Dawn. The
Yes.
reason
Gina.
I really wanted to talk to you about
Yes, please be serious. As you can
Changing
tell, we are
directions.
very serious
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah.
because
Yeah, yeah.
you spent 12 years. First of all, you graduated from KU.
Rock Chalk. No,
Rock
yes.
Chalk.
Yes.
She
And
didn't go to KU,
said
but that's where-
K-State, and I said, oh, that's EPA. Whoa.
So you graduated from KU with journalism
That's right.
degree,
Mhm.
and that's what you wanted to do. Get out of school, and you're like,
Like 7th grade.
really?
yeah.
Were you like in the school
N-
newspapers and stuff?
I was, but Watergate happened.
Oh,
When we were young.
interesting.
We were young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Watergate was.
Well, you're older than her by like
Well,
9 months.
by,
So
by
I don't
about
remember
30
that.
seconds.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
I
that.
know.
That was before my time.
Holding on to
Give me another injection.
Yeah, but during Watergate, everybody wanted to be Woodward and
Interesting.
Bernstein. They wanted to win
True.
the Pulitzer.
Okay, so
right?
your classes were full.
Yeah, they
Like
were.
lots of
Well,
people were wanting to do journalism.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But were you always
Interesting.
interested in politics? Because you're interested in
No.
politics too now.
No, I was just interested
Just-
in like winning a Pulitzer. I wanted the glory.
glory,
Of being
okay.
a newspaper reporter. It seemed so.
Yeah.
And now look at it.
And now
But-
I know
but
that is interesting.
the
now you're
internet
like, "Oh,
killed journalism, but
Millennials probably did
killed
that too.
telephone parties. Yeah.
damn it, millennials.
Just millennials,
Yeah, it's
ugh.
unbelievable.
Am I right?
I'm just here to destroy.
But when did you grow up in Kansas?
No, I grew up in Lakewood.
Oh,
I went to
you
Green Mountain
to
High.
K-
Green Mountain
okay.
Highs.
Oh, wow. That's where my
wow.
nephews and nieces
Yeah.
go.
The
/went.
Rams.
Go Rams.
Green Mountain Rams.
And then what made you go to KU?
I won a scholarship to go to KU, and it
Wow.
also helped that girl I was dating
That
was going to
always-
Well,
KU.
that's
So
really
those two
fortunate,
things
yeah.
combo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so you
KU.
come out of school with journalism and you
Yeah.
have aspirations of becoming writer or
Yeah.
news broadcast.
Yeah, so I went back east and I worked at USA Today.
Oh,
Yeah, and then I also worked at the owner of Gannett, the company that owned Gannett, which owned USA Today, also owned a newspaper in Rochester, New York. I worked there for a while.
Wow.
Too. Yeah,
Okay, so you were doing
fun.
writing,
Mhm.
journalism, always business or all different types?
It was general. I was doing
Okay.
general, but for USA Today, I was on the money desk.
Oh, the
and,
money, that was a great
yeah,
section.
yeah.
I loved you. I miss USA Today, where you could just pull out the.
Well, you don't stay in the
Parts.
hotel and get it for free
I know.
anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say that's where
crazy.
you had to do it. Yeah,
That's right.
No,
That's
who
right.
orders newspapers anymore?
Who does?
Am I right? Millennials killed newspapers.
They did.
Yeah.
Actually, and Gen Z is trying to bring it back.
Oh,
Everything's so
really?
much more analog now.
Retro. Yeah.
Retro. Yeah.
Interesting. So you could go back and get it back,
I
a
could.
job back at the newspaper.
I could.
Okay, so then you
In
when
an
did
alternate
you,
universe, I'm still
you
there.
still
Yeah,
are.
you're still there.
I'm still working
You
it.
look great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah, I could see it. So then when did you started working for the Rocky Mountain News first
Yeah,
or Denver Post?
no, in 1985, I moved to Aspen.
Okay.
That really dates me, 1985. But I went to be the Aspen bureau reporter for the Rocky Mountain News. So I
Oh,
covered
cool.
celebrities and plane
What?
crashes is pretty much what I covered. Yeah.
Really?
In
That's a
Aspen.
thing?
Wow.
Yeah. Huh?
That's
That's-
crazy.
that's-
Explosions, fires.
Everything
stuff
that
like
happens in Aspen.
and celebrities.
That's
Yeah.
so
Wow, what
interesting.
a wild.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
crazy.
Yeah.
And so
It's-
you always loved journalism. You're working at the Rocky Mountain News for like 12 years or something.
I did.
Then you
Oh,
went to
you
Denver
did.
Post. I
Did you
read
Yeah.
do the celebrity and the plane crashes for 12 years?
No, just
Okay.
for about a year and a half, and then I
Okay.
came to
Came to
Denver,
Denver.
and
Okay.
and then I started covering the
Fascinating.
airline industry, and that's how I got on the business section. So I was on the state desk and got
Ah.
on the business section, and then became business editor of both newspapers and a business columnist. So I became a kind of a business
Oh.
junkie at that point.
Yeah.
Like thinking about like you.
But
right?
Yeah.
before
Marketing.
that, it
Right.
wasn't. Before, like, or had you
A little
always
bit. It was a
been,
little.
like-
It was a little bit, but I was
Yeah.
more general. Yeah, it was
Cool.
more general.
Then
So-
what made you decide, okay, I want to make a big change and start something different
Well,
aside from the newspaper industry
yeah, the
kind
big
of tanking?
the big thing.
But that wasn't
well, I got out,
until-
But it
before-
wasn't then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got out before
Yeah.
it tanked, right?
Yeah.
So I left. I left the post. Well, it's kind of complicated, but I wanted to be an entrepreneur,
You
right? So
did,
yeah,
okay.
so it's actually out of journalism. I got involved in the database and software business, and I started
Oh, that's great.
I worked with a company that was on the internet helping law enforcement solve complex financial crimes. And so yeah, it was cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a rocket ship to the moon. It was a lot of
Wow.
fun. We grew it very
Whoa.
fast, and it gave me the bug. I
Yeah.
wanted to start more and more things, and so I have.
Well, I feel
Some of which have worked out,
Yeah.
and some of which have done
As
poorly.
they should.
Which
As
that is
they-
the
yeah.
learnings. Yeah.
Fail, 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 succeed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. Tell us
So
what was one of the, like,
The failures.
how did you decide
we
on
love
one of them that
failures.
failed? Yeah. Like,
Huh?
what made you decide?
Or yeah, well, what was one
So,
of the failures?
well, my
and-
biggest failure, I think,
We
well,
love
I had a
failure.
couple big failures, but one of them was I bought so I don't know, 2008, we had a global recession, but like 6 months before that, I decided to buy a magazine, right as the magazine
Ooh.
business was right
Yeah.
on the precipice, right? And not only did I buy a magazine, I bought a magazine for divorced people.
What?
Oh,
It was
Nice.
called Divorce Magazine. Yeah.
Wait, there was a magazine.
There was a
called
magazine
Divorce Magazine?
on how to cope with divorce and all that stuff.
Wow.
It was
Honestly.
crazy.
Brilliant.
And it lasted about a year after
Bought it.
we
Yeah.
bought it. Yeah. And so
Interesting.
that was a good example of failure. And then the other good example of failure was doubling our office space right before the pandemic. That was,
Or
and
opening
doing a
giant
5-year
co-working
lease,
space.
huh?
Or
Or
opening a
opening a
giant
giant
co-working
co-working-
space right
But
during.
it-
Wow.
But
beginning
it
of the
seems to have
pandemic.
worked out better for you than it did for me.
Yeah. We,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had one lane. We have like 100.
Yeah.
Oh, 100
But-
lanes. Yeah.
I mean,
That's
as
hard.
you know, co-working is anybody can come. Your office was just your
Your team.
employees in your team, right?
That's right.
yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You should have started
But you know what-
co-working in there.
Well, what's interesting is we started in a co-working.
Oh,
facility.
interesting.
When
Wow.
we started our
Grew
company.
out and came back.
Outgrew it.
Grew out. Well, we felt like we had to be a real company, have a real office. And there was a stigma a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, there
totally.
was.
It wasn't, I mean, for me, it was great because we were in an incubator. And an incubator is
Cool.
great because you meet a lot of other,
All the
Entrepreneurs,
entrepreneurs.
yeah. but it's different because you don't have four walls and you have to,
Oh, you were
you're
in a very
floating.
open
Yep.
desk. Oh,
mhm,
those
Yeah,
were
like a
hard.
newsroom. I came
Yeah.
from a newsroom.
Which,
So that seemed
that's
totally
true.
normal. But anybody who wanted to work for us, they like wanted walls and they couldn't have blood on the walls or
I bet
chains
they
on
were
the walls.
millennials.
They
They
were
were
Those
they were,
probably
millennials
Gen
wanting
Z.
walls.
they were millennials and they had to have like noise machines and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
high
and-
maintenance
and they were very-
millennials.
they were very high maintenance.
They needed sound
Some
machines.
some of our best employees have been millennials,
Yeah.
guys. I want to.
I mean, I do have to
I
say,
can't.
my
Her
best,
best
employee
employee
is
is
a
a
millennial.
Is that right?
It's me.
All four of my children are millennials.
It's true.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like
Wow.
Dan-
my
Danny's-
oldest brother is like the first year millennial. My sister's the last year millennial.
And
Wow.
I have
We
So
two in
span
between.
the gamut.
It's like you
spanning the globe.
you intended that.
Yeah.
It's like she's the one who created the generation.
I said, I just want to be surrounded
by
by
millennials,
millennials
and I'm the
who
peak.
need sound machines.
Well,
That's
this is
funny.
the Civica story because
is
I am
funny.
surrounded by
Yeah.
millennials.
Yeah, you
although we
are.
got a couple Gen Zers.
You
in
do.
there,
You have
yeah.
a couple. And
Yeah.
you have a
We
couple
hired
that
two
are
more. We hired two more last week. They'll be
Oh.
starting in a couple weeks and
Gen Zs.
Gen Zs.
So I'll welcome
Zs.
them with a basket of
and-
spray
Recognize
paint.
them by their baggy clothes.
And I one of them, I asked them, do you have any problem coming into the office? In the job post, we said you had to come in the office every day.
Okay.
And do you have any problem with that? And she said, I would have ever had a problem if I couldn't come into the
Oh,
office every day.
interesting.
Is that
see,
crazy?
I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
you like,
I think.
you
but
like work from home or work in the office?
I like coming to an office, but I do wish it could be not. I could be like 3 and 2. or
and it's
something.
time to change that subject. So
But just because I feel it depends on your job though. Like if you're in a company that it's collaboration is a thing, I would hate doing that virtually.
And I think because we did work virtually at our last position,
Yeah,
when we had
for
the marketing
for a
agency,
decade.
we worked all
I
remote.
you were longer.
I didn't even like it. And I just feel like you do need to be around other people. And I think
Do.
the latest generation of workers, which that could be any generation, but this last decade, we've had so much alone time.
Yeah, and I think like
think it's
watching
hard.
my friends be on calls all day long that we're just like, well, I'm getting with this team and then I'm getting with this individual and then I'm getting with this individual. And I'm like, you're just sitting in your
On
living room
calls.
on calls for 6 hours. That sounds miserable. But if you had a job that was just like I have to sit and focus, yeah, that's harder for me in an office. But I think being in person is so important.
I think another interesting thing, the older millennials especially, and Gen Zs, not Gen Zs, older millennials and Gen X and older, you see a lot of people that have beautiful home offices. But this younger generation, they're struggling, financially more so than other generations. And they're thinking, I'm now stuck in an apartment working on my bed or in my kitchen table. I don't have the nice plushy office all the time. So I would think that's another thing that's really hard is people who we were talking to someone that said they worked on their bed. Oof. They were sitting on the bed. I was like, how many backaches did that bring? But
also just mentally, it's not good for you.
So I'm still curious. You decide to start an association management. Where did that come from? Like what? Who?
Yeah, you're buying magazines. You're in.
I was volunteering with a nonprofit. So I started a newspaper called Law Week Colorado. In addition to
I read that every week.
Oh yeah, you did not. In addition to owning Divorce magazine, and
such good topic.
So I met a lot of attorneys, and I got involved with an organization called Colorado Lawyers for the Arts. They help cool. The lawyers helping artists with their legal problems. There's now a group called Colorado Attorneys for the Arts, but back then we were trying to staff it, and I was having difficulty staffing it. And that's when somebody told me about association management committees. And Denver really didn't have. We had small association management committees, but not big ones. And I thought, well, that was two things, the management experience, which I love, and then also helping nonprofits. So, and it's nonprofit membership organizations is what we do. So generally speaking, they're professional groups. They're not like
attorneys.
It's not like the American Cancer Society or anything like that. It's like your profession. Yeah. Right. So, or your trade. And so, it was just a fascinating area to me. And the thing I liked best about it was that if we grew it to be big enough, we would create all these new jobs that never existed before. Like you could become really, really, really specialized and hire and create more interesting jobs for all the groups that you serve.
Do you have because I noticed that some of your team members are the executive director for maybe the Plumbers Association.
We do have
or they're the executive director, but yet they work on your team. They work for you.
They do.
So that's interesting. So you're right. You're creating these little specialty positions,
right?
But under your umbrella of Civica Association.
That's right. And when we go to our clients, our prospective clients, and we say, oh, we've got someone who can do this and someone who can do this, that's very attractive to them because they've never had that before. And the other thing that's great about an association management committee is that my team, they do it over and over and over and over again. Right. They get really good at it. Right. So if you work for, we call it a standalone association, you might do one or two conferences a year, but when you come to Team Civica, you do a bunch of conferences a year.
A ton of them. Yeah.
And so it's like
that's interesting.
So
you become an expert faster.
You do, and you see everything, and I think it actually improves your creativity, right? Because you see more ideas.
Which is what I loved about the marketing agency, and even here in co-working, there's so many different industries, and you see the best practices across the board, not just in one silo. So I really like that.
Now, the one thing that you haven't said is, Civica is the proud house of cheese and greeting card. And then also women's leadership groups.
Which
we're big in all those.
I mean, she was really focused on the
But if you had to pick one, cheese, greeting cards, or women's leadership.
The only reason I brought up the plumber is because they had the training here a couple months back.
We do a lot of training.
So it was a 3-day training, and I pulled in on a Saturday morning, and I pulled in and saw 50 plumbing trucks. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's a flood.
And we called every single plumber.
Panicked. They've called every plumber in the state.
No one can
Something
figure it
happened.
out.
And then I got in. I was like, what is happening in the building? They're like, oh, they're doing a plumbing drain. I was
We're
like,
oh. So until they wheel the cheese in or give us
Yes.
greeting cards,
if
Good-
I
every
saw
morning,
cheese everywhere, I'd be excited. I
Good
would
thing
be
we no
very
longer
excited.
manage the Police Chiefs Association
Oh,
because
the
that would
other
have
day-
really freaked
Wait,
out.
just
yes,
the other
it did.
day,
We had the
Police
fire
and fire.
police something association in
It-
here.
It was the firefighter
Firefighter
and police pension
Oh.
association.
And they kept coming in and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Hi,
pull in and see all the
welcome
fire trucks. The same panic. And it's like, oh my
I
god.
mostly saw the police badges. I'm like, oh,
Taylor's like, I swear, I didn't.
don't look.
So that is pretty funny. But we all got excited when you said you guys managed the cheese
Yeah.
association. I was like, oh, no,
Yeah,
that.
And I don't believe you've received any shipments of
No,
cheese
there have
yet.
been-
That
I-
did
that,
you
that
guys-
will happen,
So
and maybe
excited.
closer to
I
the
thought you were gonna
holidays.
I thought you were going to say you got shipments and then you guys never got them.
Oh no! Oh, you've been diverting the shipments. Is that right?
Yeah.
I was wondering about our mail service.
No,
What's
you're
what's
wondering
going
why
on with
we're
that?
always sick. Yeah.
You haven't got any packages yet. You haven't got any
But
packages.
I think I'm so curious. Like, so you're finding associations that they've started, someone's trying to manage it, but like you're coming in and saying, we can do this for you instead, and then you can focus
Here's
on
a-
your things.
Yes, because think about the National Speakers Association, which I'm familiar with.
Very.
and
Too much.
You have a volunteer board.
You do.
Okay.
That's hard.
And so you would go to someone like that and say, we can take these things off your
That one's
plate.
probably harder because they are a volunteer, so they don't pay.
No,
salaries.
they do. The National Speakers
The
Association has a
national one,
budget
true.
and stuff like that. Yeah. So the we would go to the board. The board is our boss,
Yeah.
So I like to say I have 250, 300 bosses, right? And then we work with thousands of volunteer leaders,
Okay.
right? Every organization, 100, 200,
True.
whatever,
Wow.
whatever the number of volunteer leaders. So I get a lot of communication with. I've seen all of humanity and great leaders and maybe potentially great leaders, and it's
Nice way to
it's
say
been
That is.
it's,
potentially
it's
great.
been a fantastic thing to witness. But running 20, 25 different companies is not the easiest thing in the world.
That is
If you
so
want to
hard.
start an association management company, I'm telling you, don't do it. But if you do, I mean, live your dream. If it's what you've always wanted to do, carry on. But just know someone was here to tell you it's kind of probably like running
Can't say he
a
didn't try.
co-working facility, right?
Yeah,
And
before
Yeah,
you
would
do,
you tell someone to?
quintupling the
Yeah.
co-working facility.
yeah,
That
that I
I
would
would
say
not tell
no.
someone
I
to
would
do.
say
I
don't
would
don't
say
do
don't
it.
do that.
Just
Don't do it.
just go to 200,000
Yeah.
square feet.
Yeah,
don't
just
quintuple.
keep going.
10
Stop
times.
at 20.
People.
Stop at 20. When
Yeah.
you were getting ready to make that pivot and you were saying, okay, I'm leaving media. I
Yeah.
have this idea to start this association management.
Mhm.
Were there any things that you're thinking, okay, this is too risky? Or was there anybody that you talked to that helped you make that decision?
Well, I was married at the time,
Oh,
and
there's a bad
and
sign.
and my now ex
Yeah.
made me talk to my dad because
To
my
try
dad
and
was
talk
still
you
alive.
out of it?
No, because I was so right after I started the company, I won a contract, and then the company that lost the contract, I bid on a
Oh.
contract, and the company that lost came to me and said, "You seem really into this. Why don't you just buy us out?" Right.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
So in order to do the buyout, I had to take on some debt and some stuff, and so my ex wanted to know, like she didn't trust me,
Yeah.
but she did trust my father.
Interesting.
So she said
Talk
to
your
my father, "Is this a reasonable
Yeah.
thing?"
What did he
And he said, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he reviewed it and said,
Okay.
yeah. And so I had the blessing of my father.
Okay.
But I never, I don't want to say I'm fearless, but I'm largely fearless.
You're
Yeah,
a risk taker.
yeah, just just
Yeah.
do it, and
So I was thinking there
and
was low
apologize
risk,
later.
But there was high risk. If you had to buy another company,
I
there's financial risk there.
I think I've pledged my personal assets 6 or 7 times over, and
I feel
I believe
so
I'm
good.
looking at someone who's done that
I
too.
feel so
right?
good.
We have that. We have
actually-
this in
yeah,
common.
We do.
I'm on the line.
Are you really?
I think
I've
I have to be
sold all my
shipped over to
children.
some other
If
country
this
to
doesn't
work
work,
as a
I've
maid
pledged
that
in
right?
them
someone's
for
house.
life. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've pledged her servant.
I think it's Morocco is where
She has to
yeah,
move.
I
Yeah,
have to move.
some group out there of gypsies.
Oh, I
And
must
how
play
does
houses.
that feel knowing you're
It
extended?
my husband, I still feed him baby asprin every day to prevent the heart attacks.
Unknowingly.
Unknowingly.
But he doesn't watch
He doesn't
this, so
know.
it's
He
okay.
doesn't watch.
What?
Yeah. We slip him a little baby aspirin. Keep your heart in good shape. Yeah, that was one of the scary things of going. I've always had very low risk entry businesses. Start a marketing agency. There's no overhead.
You don't have an office.
You don't have an office.
Yeah.
I started
Your workers
hiring
are
people.
contract.
Yeah. Well, even when they weren't, we were still going. I could always lay them off, if things weren't going well.
It's like,
we didn't
"We're
have
not doing well,
overhead.
Taylor, you're fired."
Yeah. When you sign a lease, that's you're saying, okay, if things don't
You
go
sign
well,
a lease, take on debt,
you
or
did 5 years.
get a loan. Yeah.
We did.
I mean, that's a big risk.
Yeah.
And then COVID happens.
It was a lot of money out the door.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
And it's one of those things.
Yeah.
I always said I had to go to my husband to talk about the business after I had done a lot of research. So I had to go to him with data, because if I go to him and say, here's my idea, he would tell me all the reasons it's bad.
Not do it.
All the reasons not to do it. Just stop rocking the boat, sit down. Let's just travel. Let's do this. Retire. He kept saying, aren't we at an age when we should just slow down and retire? And so that was hard. And so I had to go do more research and realize, okay, Taylor and I went to a conference about co-working first. We networked with some other co-working operators to kind of, okay, is this an industry that is sustainable? Again, you can be as prepared as you want, and then COVID could happen, 10 days after you.
Which it did.
Yeah. So it did.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. No matter how much you prep,
But
it's still risky.
it's still risky, but the world needs risk takers. Then they need the me's of the world.
That's I don't want to take a risk.
Yeah, but I'll come
I'll
along for
support
the
you.
ride because I can jump out at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's hard.
We call you the balloons, and I'm the string.
Yeah.
So
we come up
you
with all
guys,
the
if
ideas.
no one was
and-
here
So you
to
keep us
tether
tied
you,
down,
yeah,
is
if
that
no
right?
one was here
Yeah.
to tether you, you would fly away and never come back. But if someone's here to every now and then be like, hold on.
What was the analogy somebody used the other day, and I thought was really good?
It was really good.
Yeah, it was so good. We remembered it. But so risk was part of it. Making this big shift and jump was part of it. What are some lessons in all the new things you started? Are there lessons you would tell somebody that was getting ready to change? I mean, because changing directions for a lot of people is scary enough.
Yeah.
And they're just thinking, I don't know enough about this. I mean, which is interesting because you didn't have association background.
No, I had no reason or business to be doing what I was doing.
Which is another thing I love about you.
I
Because
know.
that is,
It's like,
people think they have to know everything before they start.
They do not.
Yeah, you
and
don't.
and with AI, they especially do not.
Oh, yeah,
because
you are good
with
at
AI,
AI.
with AI can teach you anything,
Yeah.
right?
Huh.
And any question that you have, AI is an amazing tool. And so what I would say, it's leap in the nutshell up here, right? You
Right.
just do it and you'll figure out a way, right? Just
Have you always been like that?
well, no, as long as it's I thought it was a reasonable risk because Denver other cities had big association management companies. Denver never had that, so I knew it was possible, right?
Right.
And I knew based on the model in other cities. So one thing I do when I'm starting a new business, I treat it like a reporter. I actually wrote for the AMC industry, which is the association management company industry. I wrote a blog for 4 years because that got me in to talk
Lots of
to
good
other
connections.
people.
Yeah.
Talk to much bigger companies because they were reading what I wrote, my
Right.
blog. And it's a little bit based
Ah.
on, I looked at this is based on going way back in the late 80s when the Japanese were they were doing great,
Right.
buying all the ski areas, buying all this, buying all that.
True.
They were doing crazy stuff. And one of the things they did was they would just come to America and they would just talk and they want to know everything. And then they'd take the information and they would use it for business purposes. And that's what I did. So
Yeah.
I would never have learned it without
Which
writing
I
about.
love
So
that. The reporter.
that's my advice is if you're gonna do
Take a leap,
something, really study it and maybe even immerse yourself in it.
Right. And that is one thing we did. I read every blog I could
Yep.
find on it.
Podcast.
I found a podcast with Jamie Russo, who does, she has podcast called Everything Co-working. I binge listened to 88 episodes. I just every day would listen to tons of this
On like
content.
5 times speed, I think, or
It was
6
just
times
2
speed.
times speed.
Yeah.
And the thing that's great for me hearing that story is that that's job security for me, because you said you went to a conference for
Yes.
co-working, and that's what we do. We
Yeah.
do conferences for professionals.
Well, there's
For
GWA,
There's a bunch of probably.
Global Workspace Association.
Yeah,
But that wouldn't necessarily be a professional. Well, maybe
it's a trade
It's
association.
a trade association. That's
So
true.
it's
I
a
love
collection of
conferences.
Yeah.
owners,
Right.
Yes.
owners of a company. We run a
True.
bunch of those. That's the Cheese Society. That's the
true.
Greeting Card Association. Collection of owners, people who make greeting cards, and there's 1,000 of them, 2,000 of them in the United States.
I
So
mean, that is one thing I used to always tell young speakers. There are so many associations,
there are.
and associations hold regular meetings. Those meetings usually need speakers. They may not have a budget for a speaker, but you can go and speak and practice at a lot of association local meetings. Local. Then when you go to national ones, they have budgets.
And every year they will do.
A big
They will keep
conference.
doing it. Yeah. So that also is job security for us, except during the pandemic. But
That's true.
but even during the pandemic, we did virtual conferences. We did great on virtual conferences. It was we really made a lot of money that year. But I think that had the pandemic lasted for 5 years, people would have been burned out.
Yeah. That's
They
true.
really do want to see each other in person, and that's why
Yeah.
I like being here.
Yeah.
And it's also, you haven't asked me what my best purchase was this year, and it was a Frontier Go Wild pass, because
is
that's
that?
you
Oh,
can,
wait. That's
you can
something
fly.
I'm surprised you don't have.
yes, you can fly
My
any
boss
you
doesn't
can
let
fly
me take
anywhere.
work off.
$15, you pay the taxes, $15.
Yeah.
So if you don't bring a bag, you can fly anywhere in the next 48 hours that
For
they
$15.
fly for $15, right? Well, I mean,
But you have to be very
assuming you get on a
spontaneous.
seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you do, but isn't that like an
Fun.
entrepreneur?
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
that is cool. And yeah, last week we were saying you flew to Atlanta for a meeting
I did.
overnight and you come
That's
back the next
right.
morning. So
And when I did, I'm a little crazy about it, because I'll go like and stay for 22 hours and come back. I should like actually relax and go sleep. But
although
the
I
but
love
the
being on a
thing
plane, you get a lot of work done. Nobody can call you.
Oh my gosh.
that's
Nice.
right.
It's nice.
And the thing that I like about it is seeing our clients, right, face to
Mhm.
face, because I would feel guilty about buying $1,000 plane ticket or whatever, or a hotel room or something
Yeah.
like this. But I can just pop in and pop out, see them, and
even
have
stay in a
lunch. I
hotel.
could stay for lunch.
Like you didn't
Yeah.
even sleep in a hotel.
I think
'cause you
there's
flew at
9
night.
city pairs out of Denver that I could go in
Wow.
one day. Yeah.
My favorite travel story for business came from a woman that was in here like a week or two ago. She moved to California, but her client doesn't know that, because they loved
The
that she
face
was
local.
in person.
She's here
And
in
so
Denver.
she moved to California, didn't tell them, and they one day were like, "Hey, could you get breakfast on Tuesday?" She was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely." Flew in like red eye on Monday, or like early, like 4 a.m. flight on Monday. Flew in, rented a car, drove to breakfast with them, worked here for the day, flew out that night.
And this is a potential client.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
why she did it. She's like, I need to get this client.
Yeah.
So she didn't want to tell him she left Colorado, and so she went and met him for breakfast. And then he's like, "We should do this again."
She's
next
like,
month."
"Oh yeah, anytime,
Yeah.
anytime.
let's
I'm
do
just
it."
down the road."
Yeah.
That
That
is
was great.
really cool.
Yeah. And she
Cool as a cucumber.
she used
Yeah.
to have an office here. Now she has a mailbox that she just keeps as her
And I
business
was like,
address. But
you
we're like,
and her, like you three, you got some.
that's what you do.
you just do it. You just leap and the net
do.
appears. And it's very rare that people actually have that mentality and use it for business and actually like spontaneously travel or just start a business or expand 5 times or
Yeah.
buy a magazine.
Well,
Like,
one thing I said, learning from starting this business that we knew nothing about either. I was
Yeah.
not, I mean, I always tell people I have no qualifications.
no, it was a selfish endeavor.
Nothing that has prepared me to do this. It's the being naive enough to believe that you can do something you're not qualified for. That's what I have.
Yeah.
And I can do it with
And,
confidence.
and what is it that you do? Would you say no?
I just
Seriously.
walk
Oh, no, we
around.
don't work,
Why?
actually.
I'll tell you what I
That's
think you
right,
are.
I don't work.
I think you're the mayor of a small town, a
Oh my
city,
gosh.
right?
She wanted to be the
'Cause you
mayor
have
on
to-
Foursquare for so long.
Oh.
You
So
have You have to sweep the streets.
I do.
You
Clean.
you run the
clean
public
up.
works department,
I have
the
and we don't get
bathrooms.
paid for
And we
it
don't
either.
get paid for that.
So it's actually
You-
perfect.
That's actually really true. As the mayor, I shake a lot of hands.
You do
I
kiss a lot
kiss
of
a lot of
babies.
I kiss a lot of dogs.
Dogs,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
the
just kiss
dogs are
dogs.
good.
A lot of dogs, a lot of
I
handshaking.
smash a lot of bottles against boats and buildings.
And
We
you
do.
have a lot of requests.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of
Yeah.
people ask
City
you to do
planning.
And
things.
I,
What
I
can
send
Oh
that
my
back to my
gosh.
planning committee.
It
Oh
is,
yeah,
yeah.
that is public works.
She's
over
just the
there.
face.
Yeah.
I'm the public works.
So
I'm also the
That is true.
trash.
I always said, you know what I
so
am?
the village mayor.
I'm
What are
the
you?
house mom
Yeah.
in the dorm.
Oh,
A village idiot. Is
is
that
this
what
sorority?
no? The mayor of the village workspace, not
I
the
think you're
village
the
idiot.
mayor of a,
Are you?
of a town.
Do you feel like
Kind
you're
of
in
town.
a sorority, fraternity? What are
Well, I
you?
feel like
Co-ed?
I always wanted to
Mhm.
have a bed and breakfast or a restaurant or a coffee shop where you just kind of get to socialize all day. And then other people do the real work. That's kind of what I love
what she's
here. I'm good at,
Yeah.
just walking around and chatting all day.
So I'm waiting for the bed and breakfast to go up or the hotel or whatever.
Coming
So
soon.
you
Trying.
so remember
Coming
we
soon.
work.
They were going to have the
Had we live, they
Yeah.
did have
that-
we live.
Yeah.
Oh, they
I
did.
yeah.
How'd it go?
it was-
Adam
well,
and
it,
I think that's what we
there,
crashed.
there were
That's the we crash part.
there were a couple, and I'm familiar with the one in DC because
Okay.
we had an apartment there, and
Oh, you did?
yeah, it was very cool. It was very cool,
Cool.
but I'm not sure
Sounds
the
cool.
numbers pencil
No,
out.
they didn't.
Right.
Well,
Well,
they
we
went
tried.
into leases that were so overpriced they could never make money. Is WeWork's model was they didn't care about what it cost. They
Yeah.
didn't own the real estate. They went in and signed leases for rates that were so high because they were in big cities.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't sell offices and housing. And stuff
And there's
high
no
enough.
hot desk equivalent for staying. Like you can't all sleep in the same big
Yeah.
Right.
room, right?
Yeah, that's
Hostel.
true. Yeah.
Hostel.
I'm just here for a drop in. That would be weird.
creepy.
Yeah,
That
creepy.
would be weird.
But that is interesting because I keep saying, well, when co-working runs this course, we'll turn this into senior living.
Yeah,
Every
that
room
would
could
be
be
good.
I could stay here forever. Okay, so lessons for other people, you would say just jump and research.
Yeah, do some
Research.
research, but yeah, but don't be paralyzed. I mean, just you got to do something
gotta
with
do it.
life,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
you got 3 or 4 ideas. I actually had I had 2 ideas for Civica, and one was I was going to help my so journalists were the newspapers were closing and stuff, and so my friends were all great writers and personalities, right? And so I was thinking, well, I could be their agent and get them hired by corporations. I thought corporations should do more hiring of journalists to tell
Right.
their stories, right?
Oh,
So I
that's
Ooh,
thought,
yeah.
Yeah.
so instead of hiring marketing companies, they would go straight to this. I'm just teasing you.
No,
I'm just
kidding.
teasing you.
No, we would
So-
happily
so-
be
yeah,
bypassed.
she's
we
like-
happily left that. Yeah.
Blanche, but the but that didn't work out. So I was
This one.
like not sure which one I was going to do, but it became pretty clear.
Yeah.
Where did
early
the
on.
name Civica? What is the meaning?
I thought it was civic. I thought I wanted civic in the title, and I was just looking for something short, something that nobody could spell apparently because they always have to repeat it.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
That is
It's not the
interesting.
best. I think it's the V
Civica.
because it could be
Civica.
B or it could be
Civica.
Civica
Civica.
or civic with Civico. No, civic.
And because it's not a word that has a
or some people
meaning-
say Civica.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
very
Yeah,
fancy.
yeah, it's very fancy.
Well, I
Uh,
once started
French.
a company, and that is one of the fails. Is I started a company that we named Synapse 3DI,
Oh, Synapse.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
and everybody would say Synapse, Synapse.
But also the
say
3D.
3DI was 3D interactive because we were doing things in a 3D immersive space
Anyone remembers
with
Second
all that
Life?
Second Life, and gosh, there were a bunch of them. And we were working with IBM and Sun Microsystems.
But then you said-
So you rebranded.
So you rebranded and said, you know what we should do? Make it less confusing.
Let's
Social
go
K and
KNX.
X, but it's actually connects.
yeah, Social Connect.
So everyone's like, "Do you work for Social K and X?" And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
"It's connects." But
connects. And so
I totally get why you
naming
did
a
that.
business is always hard, and you think you're clever, and sometimes you just can't be too clever because I tried to be too clever, and then nobody knew how to pronounce it or say it.
So the only hard one that worked out was Chipotle. Like nobody knew Chipotle.
everyone
Yeah.
still says Chipotle.
Yeah, whatever they say.
Who?
Yeah.
Old people.
But but they're worth $88 billion.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
What the
It's
heck
worked
do
out
you
pretty
care?
well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
They're
But you
great.
know what? They haven't gone to grunge marketing yet.
No, they don't need to.
No.
No.
So,
They're
good
keeping it
job.
fresh.
Good job, Chipotle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
I like
Okay.
this.
Well, let's
Oh.
move to our last segment
Okay.
because our last segment is our favorite things.
All right,
And
here we go.
this is where we always share something fun that we just love at the moment. I always get a little carried away.
She does.
News and favorite things. I just get excited about them. What's one of your favorite things, Don?
Well, I like listening to podcasts.
Yeah, that's another thing we have in common.
We do
Podcast
have that.
junkies. Yeah.
Do you
Podcast
listen
junkie.
at regular speed, or do
I-
you do 1.5? 2.
I know she listens at 1.5. Some people I do have to speed up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they're just
They're
too
slower.
slow.
Like Malcolm Gladwell and Seth. I think it's Seth Godin. I was like, oh, he talks very slow.
He's too slow.
He's very slow. I'm like, too much
She
time in
goes to
between
like
words.
2 times speed
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
2 times.
So my
so if ever
my
you're talking to me
podcast.
and I do this,
Yeah.
like you need to
Speed
talk
it up.
faster.
So my well, we were talking yesterday about the Pivot podcast because we
Yes,
both
we
listen
both
to
like
Pivot.
that one,
But I'm
yeah.
relatively new to the Pivot. I love Kara Swisher.
Kara Swisher and Scott Galloway.
Scott Galloway.
They're very controversial.
What do you mean?
They're very controversial. Like they are very well. It's interesting because Scott Galloway is kind of in the middle, but
Politically,
politically,
Yeah.
Kara Swisher is very, very,
very liberal.
very liberal, and
Mhm.
so there's a lot of controversy. But I love number one. I love their chemistry on the podcast. I love their topics because they're business topics, and then he brings the kind of financial savviness, and
Yeah.
it's a great podcast.
Too much banter.
He said
Lot
too
of
much
banter.
banter, which
Lot of
makes me
banter.
think he would not like this.
Well,
Don't listen to too many episodes.
I don't like-
there's
like
there's
the banter.
guardrails here. There's guardrails. Like
Yeah.
you got the train and you got this.
Yeah,
and that.
thank
and
you.
you got-
Keeps us
I
on
don't
track.
like
yeah,
banter
it keeps you on
either.
track.
Yeah. I don't like too much either. My sister will send me a podcast or you'll send me. I'm like,
True.
tell me, get to the point, and let me learn something. I'm here for that. I'm not here to listen to you talk about your neighbors and go on.
That's
and
true.
on and on.
Yeah. So that's a good one.
Yeah, so I listened to This Week in Startups Twist,
Oh.
and listen to Jason
I do.
Calacanis.
I love the whole network, all the Twit network, and
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
what's the guy that I used to listen to every one of the marketing ones. This Week in Marketing, This Week in Social Media.
Huh.
I forgot his name. That owns all of those.
Well, Jason Calacanis owns the startup ones.
Startup one.
Yeah, and so I've been following him for like 20, 30 years. He was big during the .com, right, the .com bubble and the .com bust. But it's just fascinating because there's so much I don't know, right? And all these new companies and new ideas that are getting funding
So
or
many
getting
AI
financed or AIs or
Focus
whatever.
ones.
And I realized just how ignorant I am when I listen to that because I was like,
No,
oh,
you just have so much more you can learn.
there's more.
That's just the exciting part.
there's more I can learn.
Yeah.
There's more I can learn.
Which is what I love about podcasts. I literally listen to at least 4 before I leave my house.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but 1.5 speed, you could listen to a lot.
That's right.
Yeah, and then as I'm driving,
And you listen to no political podcasts.
I can't do politics.
you're-
I'm just like, you know what? I'm staying
too
in
much.
Switzerland. I'm staying in Switzerland, people.
But
Yeah.
she lives in America. So
We have an election.
I know.
Okay.
yeah, I don't know
And
if you knew that.
I do, and it's like it's a very scary world right now. I'm not even going to go there, but there are some crazy
Are you going to watch the debate?
clowns. I enjoyed the first debate.
You're going to join
I don't
Got a
know if I.
VP debate tonight?
I know, because do VP debates mean anything?
They
Like,
don't.
does anybody make a decision on election day because of the VPs?
I hope they're not watching this.
I know. Sorry, you mean nothing. You're dead to me. Well, those
Yeah.
are good. I'm gonna listen to the This Weekend Startups. I haven't been listening to that one, so
Ooh, she rarely gets.
I know. I love adding new podcasts. I love the show, and I may have talked about this last week. The one about Bill Gates. It's called "What's Next"
No, I don't
with
think
Bill
so.
Gates.
Oh.
Dad,
A show.
yeah, a show. I don't know if this is on Amazon or on Apple
It's
or
called
on,
Prime TV.
Is it?
We've established
Well,
that. It's called
it's
Prime
called
TV.
Prime, whatever. It's called What's Next with Bill
Hmm.
Gates, and Kara Swisher was part of that show. She interviewed Bill Gates, but it's great to hear Bill Gates talk about all the conspiracy theories around him. And they have him
Oh,
read the
wow.
conspiracy theory about he's a lizard. He's really a lizard alien. And that's just crazy.
And he confirmed that, correct?
He confirmed it.
Yeah.
And he did say the conspiracy theory says he and Lady Gaga are really, and it's just weird to hear that there are people who really believe these things. So you hear some of these wild, the vaccines are really implanting chips and Bill Gates behind it. And you're just like, how could intelligent people possibly think that's true? So I really like the show. Is fascinating. And Bill Gates, his daughter, I didn't even know anything about his daughter.
No.
She is brilliant and beautiful. So really cool show. What's Next with Bill Gates? A Netflix. I did write it down. It's on Netflix.
You have
and
so
then
many channels. Do you
I
ever
do.
work? You watch so much TV.
I don't. There's a book called Never Enough, which is really good. You would really like it. From barista to billionaire, and it's the story of the guy who started wasn't Airbnb. Wow.
VRBO.
No.
Uber.
No, Slack.
Chipotle.
Slack.
Oh, Slack.
Slack. I was like, no, tech. But he started out by he was working as a barista and saw two guys always just in the coffee shop all day. And he's like, what do you guys do for money? And they said they built websites. And he was like, I'm going to learn how to build a website. He knew nothing about it. He goes and gets books at the library, learns to code, does websites, sells that for millions of dollars, I think $7 million. And then started another company, and he became a billionaire. I don't think today he's on paper a billionaire, but he was a billionaire. But he just talks about that quest as an entrepreneur for the next thing. And it's called Never Enough.
Andrew Wilkins.
Yeah, Andrew Wilkins. Great book. Very, very inspiring.
Cool.
Yeah. I told Ben here, I was like, you need to read that book.
Yeah.
And the Slack story had a pivot because he started a different company
Yes.
and then
They
there was
were
a little
using
piece
that.
of it that was,
They were
So that
using
was
it just
really
like internal chat or
totally
something.
cool.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Totally.
like
You start one company and you realize, oh no, it's that
really
other
over
thing
here.
that we did. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is what I think is exciting in life, is like you're going
is.
one way and all of a sudden an opportunity, a door is over here and you're like, it's different, but I think it could be exciting.
That's
So
right.
you follow it.
Is it my turn?
Yeah. What's
You
your
only had
favorite?
two?
I have more, but that's
It's all
Oh.
boomer chat here.
I know. I've just been doing a little bit of this today.
I'm on the outside.
I'm on the outside.
In our family, whenever people are talking, you don't know what they're talking about. You just go, I'm on the outside looking in
It's
the
like-
window.
Were you raised in a box? Were you like you had a little cutout that you could look through?
Yeah,
Is that what you're
Kept her in
saying?
a box.
Is that
She
right?
was
Whenever
just
they
little.
come, whenever they're like, you're not going to get this. Here, just
Here,
put
we'll
the
cut.
box
We'll
over
cut this so you
me.
can watch TV.
She won't
Yeah.
understand.
Watch TV.
We had a lot of those
You
doors where
fed.
it's just one little latch, and I would knock, and they're like, no.
No.
So I'm
Here's
feeling-
another can of spray paint.
Yeah.
Spray the inside.
Here's some spray paint, you little millennial. Go spray paint something.
Oh, that's only Gen Z's.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You painted pretty things.
I actually am really not a good
Pink.
painter. Yeah.
Pink and white.
Pink and white.
Oh,
Like that wall. I have always struggled with this because I don't listen to business podcasts.
Mm.
I don't like business books. I'm not an
I
entrepreneur,
spoon-feed
people.
her.
No, she doesn't.
Info.
I close my mouth. I'm like, don't give me that. I'm not an entrepreneur. I will come alongside the people who have the ideas, and I'm like, tell me what you need. I'm a process gal.
Yeah.
And so I don't like, but I'm not diving in. When I clock out of work,
Actually,
I'm out.
you had a great favorite thing that you were telling me about, the little fish camera.
Did I not talk about that?
Did not.
Okay. Well, you saved me because I was gonna. I mean, I
This
do
is-
have one podcast that I like, but okay. It's called the Fish
Sit back.
Doorbell. Okay.
Fish doorbell?
Yeah.
In the Netherlands, there's a dam, and they were having some. I'm gonna just like paraphrase because I know for my conservation folks out there, that was my major in
That's
college.
her major, conservation biology. Yeah.
For those folks, you're
Spent
gonna be
lots of
like,
money for
"That's
her to
not-"
be a conservation biologist here at the village.
Yes, and I'm conserving all of you. You're welcome. And there's some of you that need to go extinct, and some of you that I can conserve.
That's true.
And so in the Netherlands, there's a dam, and they were having issues with invasive species of fish and native species of fish interacting in a bad way, aka the native species being eaten. But they're smaller, and the predators obviously are bigger. So there's this little door on the dam. They're like, if we could let them pass through, then they would be safely going upstream to spawn and creating more of our native population. But we don't want the non-natives to get through, so we can't just have this thing that opens. So they thought of an idea of putting a little ring cam on the doorbell
So
or
fun.
on the dam, and every time a fish would swim up, they would have probably people like me who
Probably an
graduated from
intern.
college,
Yeah.
and they're like, you get 3 month to 6 month and seasonal jobs.
You're gonna watch the fish.
You're gonna watch, and when a fish comes up, it rings the doorbell with motion, and you have to click it, and it opens the door, and they can go through. But it's only small enough for them or big enough
why
for them.
didn't they just make a smaller door that only the small fish can fit in and the big fish can't?
It's less fun.
And maybe when the big fish are small, they can still get in and grow.
Maybe when they're younger.
So that was
So-
my thought. But
but
they actually push a button and open the door.
I have so many
so-
questions.
I know,
Go
I
ahead.
And so then
too.
they made it global where you can get on and you can open the door for
If
them.
you have too much time on your hand, you could tune in to the webcam
Yeah.
and watch and push the button
And
yourself.
push the button yourself. And that also alleviated them of needing to have somebody sit there and do it.
Is it possible to let the wrong fish in?
Yes.
Oh,
I
it
think,
is.
Yes.
well, the
And you
big
know what?
no, the
Gen Zs would push it just
Like,
to watch the
"Blood."
carnage. Yeah.
The door is slammed.
It would be like, let him in.
that fish is such a square. So no, I don't know how, and that's why I need to read more into it. But also, right now, if you go look it up, it's a thing. But the season is closed.
During
The
spawning
doorbell
season.
it's closed, but it's during spawning season, and it helped them not have to sit at the computer. And people went nuts. They went nuts. They were like, "Did you know you can open the door for a fish in the Netherlands and help them through?" But it's big enough that species, when they spawn, it's like they're like, "This is what you're looking for." I'm not sure, but it is amazing.
But you know what I loved about that story? I said any business could join in on that type of consumer interaction because they got their audience involved and the audience was loving pushing the button, saving the little fish. And I thought, when we do things here, like we have a member here that they have a business that helps people who are homeless and going through addiction, they get them transitioned back into homes and apartments. And we put out just to our members, hey, we're looking for home supplies like towels, sheets, old, kitchen
When you
utensils that
first
you don't
move
want.
in
Yeah.
somewhere, yeah.
And bring them in. And we collected all kinds of stuff. And so people love helping. And so is there a way, even in your own business, to say, how do we get our members involved in something that they would be excited to help?
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of a good way for people to look at that, how they could do it in their own business.
I'll open the fish door.
Yeah.
I know. See,
Okay.
you would do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And
would
also,
say,
how
they
do
would
you
it.
spin something that's just a mundane little task
So funny.
that you have to pay some intern to do and be like, let's make it exciting and make the world want to help us?
I just love the idea of the intern whose parents are paying a college tuition to say their parents.
She's
"So what
writing
are
a
you
story
doing?"
now.
I
She's
am.
writing a story where there is an intern. She's writing a story where their parents pay
Well,
tons
even
of
worse
money.
if it was an employee. You go, so what do you do for a living? I push a doorbell
Yeah.
to let a fish in every day.
Yeah, but in the Netherlands, no job is too small.
There you go.
That's what they say. That's why it's the happiest place
Oh, is that
to
what
live.
it says?
Yeah, it's like they talk about how like trashmen, like it's not looked down upon to be like a garbage person versus like a CEO. They're like, we all do our part. And I'm like, how beautiful.
See, I would want AI to recognize the fish
Yeah.
and let the right ones in so that somebody else
But then you would
didn't
take
have
the
to hit the
joy
button.
away from all the people who love.
Well,
pushing.
you could push another button that did something else.
Maybe they just make the button on the screen do nothing,
I know.
but you think that it's doing
That's
something.
what I think. I'm like, because you have to think there
And
are like,
AI's really doing
there's
it.
probably thousands of people at the same time being like,
Yeah,
I'm the one that
I'm
did
the
it.
one that did it.
I just opened that,
Yeah.
that doorbell and you're the door. And you're like,
And
actually,
really,
it's probably someone
John's
in
over
China.
here. He's already automated it, and it's AI that's doing it. Yes.
So you're entertaining millions if you don't tell them.
Yeah. So those are great favors. See, aren't
Yeah,
you
see,
glad that
I
I
had
know
one,
your
like,
favorite things?
Last minute pulled up, but now
Yeah.
it's keeping me on my toes.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh yeah, the fish doorbell I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about last week, but
Right.
this, I just listen to books and then go home and read books. So that's what
Actual books.
actual
Oh,
books,
Put
oh.
paper,
not a Kindle,
like paper.
paper
Yeah.
books. I read them. Yeah.
I do.
What do you
like
do with
having
them after you've
books.
read them?
I actually have a brilliant thing in my neighborhood. It's a little
Little free
nonprofit
library.
local bookstore. And
It's
I do love the
cool.
little free libraries, but it's a bookstore that you pay $25 for a membership for the year, and you get 25 credits. And each credit is like a paperback is 2 credits, and a 1 credit, and a hardback is 2. And so, but you can bring books in, and then you get credits on your account. So I go almost every weekend and like find a new book, and I never pay any more money than the initial 25. And I'm just bringing back the books when I finish them.
Do you read paper books?
I
The two
collect.
boomers don't read the
I
paper
know.
anymore.
Yeah.
The millennial
I know,
does.
the millennial.
The pendulum has
Ugh.
swung back here.
It is
Yeah.
swinging. You guys are like,
Hurts
we've
my
done
head.
this for so long,
Well,
and
it's
we
like,
love
do
the
you
new
use
technology.
paper calendar or do you use electronic calendar?
Electronic.
Me too.
Yeah.
Paper calendars.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I use electronic on my Gmail as long as it's all in there, but like I have a big paper calendar at my house.
How's your vinyl collection?
actually fairly decent.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have
I don't
any.
I know.
either.
That's the thing. I got them from my dad. Like
Yeah.
it's like he was like, I'm done with these. I
Cat
can just click
Stevens.
an app, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, I click my apps all day. I'm
all
done
my
with it.
all my Carpenter's albums went to
But
her.
I think it's like you all like that generation. You grew up with all the analog versions of
True.
what we now grew up with. I'm like, I'm sick of it. I want to do something different.
Yeah.
So I use paper calendar. I read physical books.
I love books. Don't get me wrong.
but you listen to
just
them, which
listen
is
to
not
them,
not enough.
And then I like to have them on a bookshelf because then
To
if I
look
need
at.
to reference something, I like to kind of go
Yeah.
back. So sometimes I do both,
I'm
but
not an
I don't
auditory
read.
person, like learner. So that's why podcasts are a little
True.
tricky for me. It's literally in and out. I have to read it. So that's why I have to have a
Okay.
physical book. But I'll a lot of times find the audio version of the book and have it read to me. And then I stay awake longer. I like can get through it faster. I don't have to I'm a physical paper gal.
She is. That is interesting.
Yeah. I'm living in a material world. And I am a material girl.
Well, this has been fun.
It's
It
been a
has
lot of
been.
fun.
It
Yeah.
has been a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
this is
And
the sad part.
the sad part is we all have
Because
to
I'm not
jump,
getting on.
You jump and roll. So don't
What
forget
is
to
this?
tuck and roll off the trolley
We're
at the
off
end.
the
Yeah,
trolley.
we're
Off the
jumping off.
trolley.
But thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Now we have to lean across the table and click end. So awkward.
This is like the Zoom
Okay.
calls when you're on Zoom and
Do
then
they
you're
know
like, all right,
this?
bye.
Is this the high
Bye.
production
Oh
values?
yeah, high production. Oh wait,
Oh.
bye everybody. Bye.